What's up, everyone? Moss Soldier here with Grim Rounds Gaming, and today we're going to launch a new series. Due to the lack of tips, gameplay, giving people advice for tabletop tips for recording videos, we're going to give tips away. And this new series is simply going to be called Tabletop Senpai. Anyway, let's get to it. Well, as you can tell, lighting definitely has an impact on tabletop. And it's certainly true, especially with what's above us. If you have a look, ooh, man, that's bright. What it is, it's a glass bulb with a regular old house light bulb that can't be controlled. It does not dial up and down to control how bright it is. And unfortunately, it also has an impact on cars. You can have a very hard, difficult time seeing that. And even if I put this really up close, depending on where you got the lighting, you're still having a hard time because the glare. And even if I put Sabri's, which is the Cardfight Vanguard card, up close, you will notice there are still a glare, and I really got to put it up against that, but there's still glare. So unfortunately, it's not very good, and which is why you need to be able to have LED lighting that has a dial that allows you to control the brightness. But I'll go ahead and show you that. Alright, this is the light control panel. As we can tell, if I were to turn it up all the way, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the tripod here. You will notice up on the right next to the curtain, that object is a lot more brighter. And the reason why that is because I cranked it up. Now, if I were to go down, you will see that it has an impact. Now, right, I'm going to show you the difference on what a tabletop view looks like. Now, I'm using that very same tripod that I mentioned earlier. I'll be sure to take off the iPad and show you the tripod. And but as you can tell right here, the harmonized Kodachi is a lot more visible, and that's because I've turned off the ceiling light and I've activated both my LED lights that have stands, and you might have noticed it earlier when I was trying to show you Air Elemental Sabri's earlier. Now let's see what exactly happens when I crank up the light. Alright, I've cranked up the light. Now you'll notice there's a bit of a glow. Now let's see precisely what happens if I crank up light number 2. We're about to see how bright this gets. Now, because I have them standing, and you'll notice there's a bit of a glare, but I do not have them tilted. I can control the angle at which they stand. Now, let's see what exactly happens if you want your light that has this. Let's see what happens. If we control the angle like this. Now, we're going to have a look. You could definitely tell that if you tilt it that way, it's definitely right. And it's definitely going to have an impact on the tabletop a little bit. Now let's crank the angle on this bad boy. Alright, we're going to get started. let's see what happens here. Now, you can definitely, there's a bit of a glare. Now, let's see what exactly happens when we adjust this. That is at about halfway there. Halfway, and we're gonna go ahead and we'll dismiss that 1 p.m. alarm, but oh my, that is a lot more better, I'll tell you what. And even though they're tilted down on the surface, I must say I really like this. This is actually a lot more better. Now let's see what happens if I take the card closer. Still no glare. Now, even with LEDs, if you haven't cranked up, the difference here is you have control over the volume dial. Now, anything that allows you to have a control dial that adjusts the brightness, you will have it 10 times better. So I highly recommend you get it. Some LED lighting. Alright, this right here is my Zomei professional tripod, and there's a barcode for it, but you can find this on Amazon. Just go ahead, get a paper, write that down, and when you're done watching this video, go type it up on Amazon or whatnot, or their website, and check it out. And I highly recommend it. And simply because there's 1, 2, 3 ways to adjust the legging. Now these things, they will snap if you pull it apart, like push this. Oh, I don't want that. That was falling apart, but anyway, it's definitely adjustable. Now let's have a look right here. This is a tablet holder, whether it's iPad or now you can also use this, which is a phone holder if you want to. However, I would definitely say just about any tablet would do. Now, I don't know if this is going to have auto-centering technology. Let's take, for example, this card. Now, what you're not realizing is even though this seems centered, I'm holding it in my left hand, but it's all the way to the left of the tablet, which has auto-centering technology that allows you to get a center shot. Now what this allows me to do is I will flip the view so it's not facing my direction. For example, you don't want that, but I have it facing outwards. It's using the back camera, not the full screen. And this allows me to auto center on that. But this thing definitely comes in handy. If you look right there, you will notice there is a black hole, a slot, so to speak, that you can allow you to take tabletop shots, and this is what I use for deck techs. And this is especially true because what I do is that last leg pegging, I will expand it out so that way I can get a phenomenal deck tech view. Now, normally whenever I'm sitting down, I'll take that off, and it'll just be from here all the way down to that red peg that extends the pole. Now, I will tell you, if you can definitely get a laptop plus a USB camera, I highly recommend Logitech. I'm planning on getting one very soon with income tax coming in eventually, but for now, you can definitely do a lot with tablets, and it doesn't have to be an iPad. what I would highly recommend is oftentimes these places will have tester stuff. What you want to do is simply put, you want to be able to test whether or not it's got auto centering technology. Now, I'm no expert on this, but maybe some of them have it and some don't. Now, if you honestly think you need a brand spanking new iPad, you can actually get away with some older generation models as long as they can definitely run good, but not only that, they have a built-in mic. Now, not all tablets have built-in mics, but I'm not 100% certain, and I'm not certain on certain smartphones, but you might have to look into getting yourself a plug-in mic that plugs into your smartphone or something. But anyway, I definitely like my iPad simply for this factor. And that right there is my laptop. My brother Tyler is letting me use it, but I'm rather limited on internet connection out here. Yeah, I live in Rogers, Ohio, and it's rather limited out here. But I'm definitely I can't get on Tabletop Simulator because it lags like crazy. Because we got DSL internet out here, and that's why I'm relegated to making YouTube videos because you don't need a high-speed internet to upload videos. Alright, this right here is the glide gear. Now, I can't say this is going to be the cheapest option, and there's definitely some modifications involved because the two things right here up on the side, these were originally purchased, but they're more designed to be like this. So you would definitely have to do some modifications on this, like drill a hole to fit a screw, and you're going to need a socket wrench plus a washer. A washer is that, you see that circled in right next to the screw. That allows you to tighten it, and you'll need a socket wrench, a proper drill, and that's going to drill a hole that's going to be proper for the screw, so that way it can spiral and tighten. Because if it doesn't tighten, this thing will whirl. It'll be unstable. It'll be like a waterlog competition where you're trying to stay on the waterlog kind of deal. But you gotta keep that thing moving. But this thing, it will definitely run you up $300+ if you decide to go with drilling a hole and making sure that it's tightened with proper screws. That's just with the bars. Now, ideally, what you could do is, let's take for example this thing right here. This is what it originally came with, and the center bar that I'm using, it would just go at the very top. But if we look at the bottom, you will notice there is a hole in this, and that allows you for some modifications. Now, ideally, the ideal height that I've been using, let me go get a tape measure and we'll do the tape measuring thing, but I would recommend not buying this at first. What I would do is get yourself, well, there are desktop clamp things that will allow you to tighten it off to the side of a desk. Basically, it clamps to the bottom, and you tighten it up. Now, what I recommend you do in that situation is you either get yourself a tablet one that can hold it, or you can get yourself a smartphone holder. And basically what you want to do here is clamp. Get one of those clamping devices, similar to this. Well, what I'm doing, I do have access to a light, an LED light that I use for a heating station. Now, we have a look right there. That's what I mean. That allows you to tighten. And this is where all my miniatures are. Let's have a look at this bad boy. Ooh, man, that is definitely coming in very well. With some AK, all kinds of things. I definitely like my painting, and I am definitely working on getting stuff out. And also, when it comes to the height, basically, I would highly recommend you just get yourself one of those clamp things that I showed you earlier. Now, experiment. Get yourself a piece of paper, a tape measure, or borrow someone's, and record yourself. Place some cards in certain elements, for example, and when you're ready to go with the glide layer thing that I showed you earlier, I recommend that you either go your creative routes. For example, the bottom part that had a hole on it, you can definitely build yourself a stand, but you got to figure out how to keep it stable, stuff like that. But figure it out, and the best part is you want to use a tape measure simply so that you can either go with the expansions that I mentioned, the two sidebars that I'm using. Typically they should be going this way, but I'm using them like this way on the east and the west part. Um, yeah, but you can drill holes or you can build yourself a platform. But I recommend you get yourself a tape measure and measure it. After you do some settings, like for example, if you like the angle, the view of the clamp device plus your shelf, then um, get yourself this and ask yourself what route you want to go. You want to go spend more money, or you could definitely might have some leftover wood or something, or someone might have some wood and start going that route. But there's definitely some modifications regardless of what way you go with the glide gear, because or you could look at the other options, but I've seen some other stuff and they're like 300 plus. Plus, you gotta be able to have screw on devices that allow you to hold your tablet or whatever you're planning on using for recording, whether it's a tablet, a smartphone, or a USB uh, camera, or I don't recommend going on the high-end DSL cameras or using stuff like that, because that requires a huge upgrade, thousands of dollars, and I would definitely need a much more better laptop to be able to handle those higher end DSLR cameras that you can use as a camera, a recording video device, but those are expensive. I wouldn't worry about that. But anyway, this is Mossar out from Tabletop Senpai giving you tips. Looking forward to another tip video next month. This is a once per month video, but I'm Mossar, and I'd like to remind you, enjoy the grind with either some lemonade or twisted tea. You don't have to be responsible. Adios.